October the 7th, migrants. Beside reservoirs for ducks and marshes and mudflats for waders, sewage outlets in places such as Crossness and Barking are also magnets for birds. With rather more hope than certainty, it is also always worth gazing south from the top of the North Downs to see the last of the swallows and martins. Rather less romantic is Hatfield Aerodrome, which always seems to be a good place to see birds of prey. There is also always the possibility of hearing birds, such as skylark pipits or wagtails, in the dead of night flying overhead, and perhaps even seeing redwings or geese crossing a full moon. In October, we tend to see the advance guard of waders recently arrived from the upland moors further north where they chose to raise their families. Any dunlin could include a stint or perhaps a curlew or two. When looking at redshanks, it is also worth looking for a slightly larger, slightly paler bird, possibly with a slightly upturned beak, which could be a recently arrived greenshank. A visit to Rainham could also be rewarded with a wisp or two of not only the common snipe, but also the jack snipe. This is also a good month to look out for rare sandpipers. Smaller numbers of common and green sandpipers can be expected on Walthamstow reservoirs, but the much rarer petrel, curlew, and even wood sandpiper can also turn up. Common sandpipers, the most likely to be seen, are recognized by their characteristic flicking flight with rapid, shallow wing beats and striking white wing bars. Green sandpipers are noticeably more black and white as they fly, with their dark underwings and pale undersides. If any yellow dangly legs are noticed, this could suggest a wood sandpiper, just as a curved bill could suggest a curlew sandpiper. A distinctly dark bib above a white belly might even be a petrel sandpiper. A trip to Southend to gaze out to sea from the end of the pier with enormous luck could result in skuas, scoters, scorp, and rare terns all being seen. At this time of year, you might expect to see common terns, and more rarely, perhaps even a sandwich or black tern. It is the Arctic tern which is the greatest thrill, as this bird is one of the greatest of all migrants on the planet. They breed across the whole top of Europe and America, right up to the Arctic Circle, yet choose to migrate each year to the Antarctic. This way they avoid winter and gain 2 summers, and consequently are said to enjoy more sunlight than any other creature on the planet. Estimates of their annual journey vary from 10 to 40,000 miles, and as they are thought to live between 10 and 40 years, their total flying time is little short of astonishing. The wheatear, which we occasionally see on the North Downs, is another Olympian traveller. Those we see in London possibly just fly down to South America, but there are wheatears born in Canada that after crossing the Bering Straits go on to cross the whole of Russia before bearing south to Africa, covering perhaps 20,000 miles. Our gull population is also changing now. We tend to notice more black-headed gulls arriving and perhaps more lesser black-backed gulls, but there is a host of rare gulls which have a habit of stopping off on our reservoirs, especially those along the Lee Valley. Those to look out for, although they will only be the individuals, are the little yellow-legged kittiwake and Mediterranean gull, although there is also the faint possibility of a Caspian, glaucous, or Sabine's gull. Little gulls are generally given away by their small size and tern-like appearance, as well as tips. Kittiwakes are famous for their soft, attractive features and wingtips which look as if they've been dipped in black ink. The Mediterranean gull has a slightly drooping look, giving it a sulky appearance, whereas the Caspian gull, with its heavy dagger-like beak, has a much more thuggish look. The eyes of the yellow-legged and glaucous gulls are their diagnostic features. The first has a piercing vermilion eye ring, and the second a pronounced yellow eye. If you are not close enough to see their eyes, it may help that the first has dark wing tips, which are missing in the second. Sabine gulls are easier gulls than most to identify, having forked tails. There are also other birds that migrate much smaller distances. Many will move either in or out of town or across and back from France, just to avoid bad weather, or even just to look for better food opportunities. A lot of our garden robins, thrushes and blackbirds spend the winter abroad, yet we hardly notice their disappearance, as their places are so quickly taken by others from northern Britain. Other birds will travel surprising distances just to find their favourite fruits or seeds. Our oak woods, when they're full of acorns, attract many more wood pigeons, woodpeckers, pheasants, and jays. Not only foreign jays are attracted, but even those from surrounding counties. Similarly, beech woods, when they're in full beech mast, bring in more finches, ticks, and redpoles. It is worth remembering that even our garden robin, who we think has been such a permanent resident, is regarded as a summer migrant in Germany.